Okay, I'm already back with part 2 in my series where I shared the best and worst holiday gift sets available at Sephora. On Sunday, I did a video sharing 12 different sets from individual brands like Merit, Rare Beauty, Kosas, just to name a few. The day after I filmed that video, Sephora actually launched their favorites kits. So these are the kits that Sephora launches every single year that include a bunch of different brands within each kit. And I feel like they did quite a few this year. I'm pretty sure they did more this year than last year. So I wanted to break them down for you in today's video. Now, when it comes to the Sephora favorite sets, you always get more in terms of value compared to what you pay for it. Usually it's at least twice the value. So you're not really going to see me saying like this is a bad value overall. It definitely really comes down to personal preference and whether or not you're going to use all of the products or you like all of the shades within each kit. If you're looking for a good deal, you're typically going to get it with these sets, but sometimes a lot of the products have like a very small amount. They include what I would consider to be like filler products, filler shades. So I do really encourage you to look at these, fully before you commit to them. But I do think they make great gifts. They sell out pretty quickly every year, and there's a reason why. So I still wanted to go through and break them down with you, share every single product you're getting, the value of the products, in case you're interested in all of those details. That way you can decide if they're worth it to you personally or they're worth spending your money on as a gift for someone else. And if you're anything like me and you have a larger collection, sometimes it's nice to get smaller size products because you just don't need 14 new full-size products in a kit. So let's get into it. I will put timestamps in the description box in case you want to skip ahead. I'll start with the makeup focused kits, then I'll talk about like hair care, skincare, perfume. There's a lot. So let's get started because I think this might be a little bit longer. The least expensive one is actually one of my favorites, both to buy as a gift for people who I know really enjoy makeup and mascara, but I will occasionally buy it for myself as well if I'm in the mood to try a new mascara or the products in here are things that have been on my wish list. It's the Lashstash to go value set. It retails for $29. So this kit comes with 5 mini mascaras that you can try, and then there's also a voucher in here to redeem for your favorite formula out of the 5. I think this is perfect if you either want to find a new mascara or one of your favorite mascaras is actually available as an option within this kit because you can use it to buy your favorite and then you still get the minis. The least expensive mascara in this kit retails for $28 and the most expensive retails for $34. When I broke it down to find out the value of each sample, altogether they're worth $39.92. So the true retail value of this kit, depending on which mascara you redeem with your voucher or which mascara you redeem your voucher on, can range anywhere from $67.92 to $73.92. And again, you're paying $29 for this. So it's actually much higher in terms of value than what they say at $48. And this is definitely one of my top recommendations. Usually I only highlight cruelty-free beauty brands on my channel because that's what I use personally, but Sephora does include brands that are not cruelty-free. So if you're buying one of these, just go through and check within each brand to see if it is or is not. Okay, so the brands within this kit are the Lancome Lash Eat All Flutter Extension Mascara. I think that's how you say it. I haven't purchased that product, but I know it is a little bit more popular. The YSL Lash Clash Extreme Volume Mascara in brown. I like that they included a brown option just for variety. The Benefit Cosmetics Roller Lash, which again is a pretty popular mascara. The Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerized Mascara, and then the Tartelette Lengthening and Tubing Mascara. So I feel like there's a good variety within this kit. I'm not going to pick this up just because there are brands that aren't cruelty-free. And honestly, I don't need a new mascara right now. I have a lot of open mascaras that I'm kind of working my way through, and I feel like I'm pretty happy with the ones that I've tried recently. But it is a great option. I feel like it will sell out. The next kit is called the Glitz and Glam Makeup Value Set. So for $49, you get a mix of 10 products to get you glitz and glam for any holiday occasion, kind of a fun theme. This set comes with 3 full-size products, 3 minis, and then 4 deluxe size products as well. So for the 3 full-size products, you get a Danessa Myricks Color Fix, which is a pigment that you can use on the eyes, the cheeks, the lips. This one specifically is in the shade of Milky Way, which is a silvery beige foil. I feel like that would be so pretty for the eyes, maybe as a highlight, a great option for the holidays. The Glossier Boy Brow. Oh, by the way, that is worth $22. The Glossier Boy Brow is also worth $22. This one comes in clear. This is actually one of the only high-end brow gels I like. It's not the most intense hold. It's more so a great option for creating like fluffy, kind of thick, textured looking brows. I have it in dark brown. I tend to like more of a pigmented formula, so clear isn't my go-to, but it makes sense they would include clear because it is a kit that multiple people can buy. The Lily Lashes Self-Adhesive Lashes in Rule Breaker. These sound really interesting. Apparently they use your body heat to attach, which I don't know if they would actually end up staying in place really well. When I wear false lashes, I want them like really locked in place. I don't want them to go anywhere, but it says you can rewear these up to 5 times. These are worth $16. Okay, before we get into the minis and deluxe sizes, just a note in regard to the value associated with each product. The way I get the value is just by comparing how much you get in a mini or deluxe compared to the full size product. Obviously, there are things brands take into consideration like packaging, manufacturing costs. They might have to actually create a mold for the mini. So there are additional costs associated with creating minis, but I don't know all of the costs that go into that. So I can't really take that into consideration. And I just don't think that really adds value to the consumer. I film these videos for the consumer. And obviously, if you want to take into consideration the brand's perspective, you can totally do that. The value as a consumer really lies within the quality of the product and how much you're getting for the price. So that's why I just share it like price per ounce compared to a full size product. But I do think some brands are maybe justified in increasing the price of a mini because there are costs associated with that. I think we can rest assured that most of them are making very high profit margins off of their makeup products. That might not be the case when it comes to everything, and maybe they are losing a little bit more when it comes to holiday sets, but that's something they've calculated is worth the financial risk or the financial hit if that's the case. So I feel like, you can obviously consider that if that's something you want to consider, but as a consumer, I'm more so looking at, am I getting a good deal when it comes to value, or does it make more sense for me to purchase a full size product or to consider something else? So that's why I break it down that way. I don't know the costs involved, so I can't really add that into the value, but if that's something you want to consider, obviously you can. This set does come with two different lip products. The Prada Beauty Hyper Matte R28 Red Lipstick. I love that they did red for the holidays. This is a pretty good sized lipstick, especially for a luxury brand. It's about 1/3 the size of a full size lipstick. So it retails, or I would say the value is $12.31. You also get the Pat McGrath Mini Dramatic Mega Lip Pencil in Nude Oasis, which is described as a neutral auburn. It looks like this could be used as a liner or a lipstick. In the description, it says a mini. The actual size, like the ounces, are the same as a full-size product, but based on the photo, I do think it's an actual mini. So the value is about $17.26. There is a hair product, the Color Wow Style on Steroids Texture Spray. It's 1.5 ounces, so I would say it's worth about $6.43, but they do sell a mini on Sephora's website for $15. So if you just purchase that separately, it would cost $15. Now, there are 4 deluxe sizes in this kit. They're pretty tiny overall. The biggest one is a cream blush in the shade Cherry Red from the brand Basma. Honestly, a red blush is kind of fun. I like that they included that because that's not something I would personally buy, like by itself. I wouldn't want like a full-sized red blush, but a mini is a good way to try something that's maybe out of your comfort zone. The value of that is $7.47. They did include a tiny mini of the Kosas Cloud Set powder in Candy Pink. This has to be the tiniest powder sample. In the photo, it looks small, but I feel like in person, it's probably even smaller. The full-size powder comes with 0.70 ounces, and this sample comes with 0.035 ounces. So I would say the value is $1.90. And then the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix, again, super tiny, worth about $3.73. And then the Gisou Honey Infused Hair Perfume. I haven't tried that. I know a lot of people love that scent. That's worth $3.36 as well. $3.36 as well. So I came up with $112.46 in terms of value. They claim $136, which I'm not completely sure how they got that because even with the difference in the color wow, if I chose the higher price, what it actually retails for, which makes sense, it would only come to $121.03. I will say, even with the lower calculation, this is still worth 2.29 times what you pay at $49. So is this kit worth it to you? That's something you have to decide. I will say that it's basically like paying for the Danessa Myricks eye pigment and the Glossier Boy Brow and getting the rest of the products for $5. So if you're like, yeah, I would totally buy those 2 products at full price, grab this kit because then you're getting a bunch of extra products. If you're like, I wouldn't pick that Danessa Myricks eye color, I don't like the silver, I prefer gold, then maybe, skip over it. Because if you're not going to use it, it's not going to be worth it to you, no matter how great of a deal it is in terms of value. Okay, the next set is a lip focus set with 10 different products. It comes with 4 full-size products, 1 mini, and then 5 deluxe size products, all for $52. So the 4 full-size products in here include a Say lip liner. This is in the shade Twist, which is described as a mauve nude. It retails for $20. You also get the Kosas Wet Lip Oil Plumping Peptide Lip Treatment Gloss in the shade Unbuttoned. This is a pretty color. It's described as a soft, warm blush. This retails for $24. I did try this formula a few years ago. I actually bought their holiday kit that came with 3 minis, and it wasn't my favorite. I felt like it wasn't super shiny, super glossy, and it kind of dried my lips out. So personally, I don't like that product, but I know some people do. the Huda Beauty Faux Filler Shiny Lip Gloss in the shade Bombshell, which is a pinky brown. This retails for $21, again, a full size. And then the last full size product is from Dr. Jart Plus. It's a Jelly Bear Lip Mask. So you can use it during the day as a treatment, overnight as a treatment, just to really hydrate your lips. I like that they did a variation of products for the full-size option, like one liner, one lip oil, one lip gloss, and then one lip treatment, rather than doing like two glosses, two lip oils. So that's kind of nice. There's a mini in here from Dr. Dennis Gross. It's a Plump and Repair lip treatment. I haven't tried this. I haven't really even heard anything about it, but it's supposed to kind of repair and condition your lips. The value is $17.73, but they do sell it as an actual mini on Sephora's website for $25. And then there are 5 deluxe sizes in here. Now, normally deluxe sizes can be pretty small. I feel like the word deluxe is kind of misleading because I actually thought they would be bigger than minis most of the time. But you'll see as we go through the kits, deluxe sizes can be super, super tiny. Within this kit, I feel like there are quite a few that have a good amount of product in them. So the first one is from Clarins. It's their Hydrating Water Lip Stain in the shade Red. It's a pretty good size, about half the size of a full-size product, and the value of that is $14.40. The second product is a pretty good size too. It's the Lancome Juicy Tubes Lip Gloss in the shade Marshmallow Electro, which is a sugar pink with gold shimmer. And that's about it's actually more than half the size of a full-size product. So the value of that is $16.50. They did include a YSL Plumping Lip Oil Stick in the shade Nude Lavalier, which is an iconic pink nude. That's about half the size of a full-size product, so $16.36 in value. So again, those 3 deluxe size products alone are pretty good sizes, so I was surprised to see that. And then there are 2 smaller options, the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb and Fenty Glow, which I have. It's such a beautiful shade. I love that formula. The size of that would make the value about $5.13. And then the Tarte Maracuja Gloss in Honeysuckle, which I also have, and that one's worth about $6.99. That's a really pretty color too. It's like a sheer kind of black honey shade. So the total value of this kit is $167.11. They claim $148, so I think the total value is actually higher than what they calculate, which doesn't normally happen, but it's basically worth 3.21 times the amount that you pay at $52. Basically for a few more dollars than the cost of 2 full-size products in here, you get 2 additional full-size products and then 6 additional mini and deluxe size products. And like I said, a lot of the mini and deluxe size products have a good amount of product in there. So this is definitely one of the highest value kits. I feel like they included pretty generous sizes of most of the products. I will say most of the products in here have a glossy finish. 6 out of 10 products are either like a lip gloss or a lip oil. So if you like glossy lips, that will be great for you. But if you strictly wear matte lip products, you're going to want to skip over this. Again, there's a liner, a stain, and then 2 lip treatments or lip masks as well. When it comes to something like this, I would definitely take a look at all of the shades within the kit as well, because if you don't think they would be flattering on you, obviously you won't end up wearing them. And then no matter how great of a deal it is in terms of value, it's not going to really be a great deal for you if you spend your money on it and then you don't wear them. But if you love these formulas, you've been curious about these brands, I definitely think this is one of the best options overall this year. So Sephora usually does a kit focused on clean beauty brands. So this year's kit is called the Cozy and Clean Makeup Value Set. For $54, you get 9 must-have clean beauty items. And I did check, all of the beauty brands in this kit are cruelty-free for those of you that are interested. So it comes with 3 full-size products, 5 minis, and 1 deluxe for $54. As for the full-size products, there is a mascara from Haus Labs. It's their B-Structural Volumizing and Lengthening Mascara. This retails for $29. I was reading through the reviews on Sephora's website because I haven't tried this. I actually haven't heard much about it, but apparently it's supposed to give you 5 times the amount of volume. It's not supposed to clump or flake, but it does have some mixed reviews on Sephora.com. Some people love it, but other people are saying it caused like an allergic reaction. So I would say if you have very sensitive eyes, just keep that in mind. There's a full-size lip product from the brand Kulfi, which retails for $24. It's their staining lip oil. So it's basically supposed to go on glossy and then leave behind a stain that's really comfortable. I haven't tried this product, but they included the shade Rose. And then there's a full-size Merit Shade Slick Sheen tinted lip oil in the shade Tabby. This is a really beautiful color. If I liked this formula, I'd probably pick this up because it looks perfect for fall. It retails for $24. I don't like this formula. I feel like it's just too thin. It wears off really fast, and I don't find it super hydrating. hydrating, but that color is pretty. There are 5 mini products. So the Kosas Dream Beam, which is like their sunscreen, it gives your skin a nice smooth, glowy effect. So it's nice on its own, but also under makeup. That is worth $15.38. And then they do sell a mini for $22 if you're curious about that price. The Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer, which is like an old school staple. Oh, you know what? I don't have it in front of me. I'm trying out a new product from Hard Candy that sounds like it's basically a dupe for that. I will put it on the screen for you in case you're interested. It is so good. I have it on today for the very first time. I feel like it left my skin looking so smooth, and it was tacky, but my makeup went on really evenly, and it did give a little bit of a glow. So I'll let you know how my makeup wears, but I really like that so far. So that's worth $8.25, but they do sell a mini for $20 in case you're curious. The Ilia Lip Sketch, which I guess you can use as a lipstick or a liner, that's worth about $13, and it comes in the shade Genre, which is a mauve brown. The Tower 28 SOS Spray, I did try out a mini version of this, and the 1-ounce bottle, which is what you get in here, surprisingly lasts a good amount of time. I loved it. I actually almost purchased the full-size version, and then I started testing out Milani's Hypochlorous Acid Spray. I feel like I ran that together, and it's great. I actually don't know that they differ that much when it comes to how much you get compared to what you pay. I feel like Tower 28 ends up coming close because their full-size bottle is a lot bigger, but the Milani one, I'll have to talk about it in an upcoming video. I think it has some additional benefits that Tower 28 doesn't have. Anyway, I do like that Tower 28 product. I think it works really well if you have easily irritated red skin or acne-prone skin. And that's worth about $7, but the mini retails for $12. The last mini is from the brand Luna Daily. I haven't heard of this, but it's a mini everywhere spray to wipe hydrating body spray. So that value is about $6.67, although they do sell a 1-ounce mini for $18. The deluxe size product in here is pretty tiny. It's from Glow Recipe. It's their Dewy Flush in the shade Watermelon, which is like their blush serum. It only comes with 0.05 ounces, so the value is only about $3.13. I'm not sure you could even get like more than one use out of that, but it is available in there if you're interested. So the value I came up with was $130.43. Because there are so many products in this kit that are available as minis on Sephora's website, I wanted to calculate the value with the retail price of those minis as well, because I know some of you consider that to be a little bit more accurate. So whichever way you want to go, but if that's the case, it's worth about $165.13. Even with the more conservative estimate, it is still worth 2.41 times the cost of the set. So it's essentially like paying for the mascara and one of the full-size lip products and then getting the 7 additional products for free. The value is definitely there if you're wanting to try everything in this kit. If you specifically love clean beauty or you're looking for a cruelty-free kit, I think this is the only kit this year that has all cruelty-free beauty products, so just something to note. I feel like there's a good mix of bestsellers and then some hyped up launches with a few brands that are maybe under the radar. So I think it's a good kit if it is something you're considering. Okay, this next one is their bigger makeup focus kit this year. So for $69, you get 14 different products. There are a few non-makeup items in here, even though they call it the makeup must-haves value set. So just keep that in mind. And then some of the mini products in here are labeled as deluxe, but they're actually minis if that matters to you. So a more detailed breakdown, there are 8 makeup products, 3 skincare products, 2 hair products, and then 1 hand sanitizer. So as for the full-size products, you do get the Rare Beauty Shadow Stick in the shade Integrity, which is described as a champagne. That retails for $22. And then you get the Glossier Balm.com in Strawberry, which is a sheer berry red, and that retails for $16. I haven't tried either one of those products, but I feel like they could be just like good go-to daily staples for a lot of people. There's a full Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream, which again, I haven't tried. That's worth $39. And then there's a full-size Touchland hand sanitizer. I hate to admit it, I have fallen for the Touchland hand sanitizer hype. I blame my little nieces. Every time we would go into Sephora, like they would want to spray them and then they'd smell so good and then they'd want one and then I would buy one, and my toddlers, like they will easily use those compared to any other hand sanitizer. So I like to blame them, my nieces and my toddlers, and call them, you know, enablers, but I myself have spent more money than I would like to admit on those. There are 5 mini products in here, so all of these products are available as actual minis on Sephora's website. The Benefit Cosmetics 24-hour brow setter, this is worth $13.39, but it does retail for $16 on Sephora's website if you buy it separately. The Makeup by Mario blush in the shade Pale Petal. This is like one of their stick blushes, not one of their cream potted blushes. I didn't really like these, and I don't know if it was because of the shade I picked up or because of the formula. I like their cream bronzer, but this one, I don't know, it was, like, a little bit more difficult to apply. I think the color was mostly the reason I wasn't a big fan. It didn't look good on me, but I know some people do enjoy these. These are worth $12.86, or they retail for 16 on Sephora's website. A hair product, the Color Wow Money Mist Leave-In Conditioner. This is worth $9.86, or you can buy it for 14. And then the Ilia Limitless Mascara in black, which is worth $10.74, or again, available for 16. I like to include both prices because some people want to know how much it's actually worth compared to the full-size product, and then some people want to know how much Sephora sells the mini for. So I know it's a lot of numbers. If you're not interested in that, you're probably not watching this anyway, but just wanted to share why I'm sharing two different prices. The Sephora Collection Size Up Mascara, which you can buy the mini for $9, but it's worth about $5.10 based on how much product you get. And then finishing up with 5 deluxe size products. The Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Balm Powder in Universal, which is a clear. I do like the tinted version. I'm actually wearing it today on my neck because I had a little bit of redness, and I always use that on my neck because it is so lightweight. It looks so natural. So if I do my makeup and I'm like, oh, my neck is kind of red, because that happens sometimes, I always use that to kind of cover it up. But the universal shade is a clear, so it's more so meant to be used as a primer. It's about 1/3 the size of a full-size product, so it's worth $13 in value, and honestly, a tiny bit goes such a long way, so I feel like you get a lot in there. The Kerastase Elixir Hair Oil, it's worth $12.25, and then the Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid, which is worth $4.95. Even though it is a lower value, you still get a lot in there. You get half the amount you get in a full-size product because the Ordinary products are pretty inexpensive to begin with. The YSL Candy Glow Balm in the shade Nude. I think that's a pretty popular product. It's worth $17.20. You get about half the amount you get in a full-size product. And then the Sol de Janeiro Boom Boom Cream, which is worth about $4.98. So the value I came up with was $191.33. If you take into account the retail cost of the minis, it's $210.38. Either way, still quite a bit off from their $229 valuation. So I don't think this is quite worth what they claim. But again, even with the lower estimate, it's still 2.77 times the value compared to what you pay. So it's essentially like paying for the Kiehl's moisturizer, the Touchland hand sanitizer, and the Rare Beauty eyeshadow stick, and then getting everything else for free. The nice part about this kit is that the minis and then even quite a few of the deluxe size products are bigger than what you get in some of the other kits. You also get 14 products, so slightly more than previous ones. If you're a beauty lover and you already own a ton of products from a lot of these brands, you might have tried a lot of these or the majority of them. So it might not be for you, but as for an actual gift for someone, I do think it could be a great option. Okay, the advent calendar. I do feel like this, I don't know if it's this advent calendar or like the actual Sephora collection advent calendar that only comes with products from the Sephora collection, but one of them tends to get a lot of negative reviews every year. I've never looked at it too closely because I'm just not like a big advent calendar person as a whole, but I wanted to break it down for you. Now, this does include 25 products, so we might be here for a little while. If you want to skip ahead, again, check the description box below to jump ahead to the next product. They say it includes a variety of must-have products from hair and skincare to makeup and fragrance, all from your favorite brands. It's $99 this year. So let's go through it. There are 4 full-size products in this calendar. The Danessa Myricks Low Lighter in the shade Unbothered. I do have one of these products. It's really beautiful. It's kind of like a cream to powder balm type formula. This is worth $27. The Milk Makeup Cooling Water Jelly Tint in Fresh, which is a soft pink. This is worth $26. This is more of a viral product. If you've wanted to try it, it's kind of nice they include it. I don't love this type of formula for me personally, but I do think it's fun they included it just because it is so popular. You do get lashes from Velour Lashes in the style Would I Lie. Those are worth $22. And then a Dr. Jart Vital Hydration Glow Face Mask, just one mask, and it's worth $10. So those are all of the full-size products. You do get 6 minis, and then everything else is a deluxe. So as for the minis, you get the ABH Mini Brow Gel in Clear. That's worth about $8.31. The Say Glowy Super Gel in Star Glow. I love that product. It's great as a primer or as a mix-in. Because it's a lightweight gel, I feel like it does mix really well with other $15 products, and that's worth $14.50. The Benefit Cosmetics Bad Gal Bang Mascara, that's worth $13.53. And then a couple of skincare products. You get one from The Ordinary, a cleanser, which is worth $7.14, and then a Super Goop Glow Sunscreen, which is worth $15.20. The mini hair product is from Color Wow. It is the extra large bombshell volumizer, which is worth $16.68. As for the deluxe products, there are 3 hair products. So a Way leave-in conditioner, which I feel like I have gotten so many samples of that over the years. It's not my favorite. It kind of leaves like a weird film in my hair, so my hair ends up feeling a little bit tangly. I do like other products from the brand, just not that one specifically. I do love the Amika Soul Food Mask. That's worth $4.50. That's a great option if you want like a nice moisturizing hair mask. There are 4 different fragrances in here. So the new Rare Beauty one, which is kind of nice, that's worth $7.10. I think it's like the little roller ball they have in a couple of other kits. Armani My Way, which is worth $3.29. And then Sol de Janeiro number 68, which is worth $4.88. That's a 1 ounce bottle, which is the size they include in like their holiday kit every year. And then the Skylar Vanilla Sky, which is worth $8.47. So a couple of fragrances, if those do appeal to you. A couple of skincare products as well. Peter Thomas Roth Cloud Cream, which is worth $7.94. The Glow Recipe Hue Drops, a pretty tiny sample. This one specifically is in the shade Sun Glow, which is like that bronzy tone, and these are worth $4.27. The Ultraviolet Sunscreen, which is worth $10.23, and then a tiny little bottle of the Rare Beauty Body Lotion, which is worth 89 cents. As for deluxe makeup products, you get a Makeup Forever pencil in the shade Graphite, which is, I think this is an eyeliner, worth $4.33. A Charlotte Tilbury setting spray worth $5.75. I still want to try that because I hear so many good things. The Huda Beauty blush filter in Black Cherry. I love this formula. I was obsessed with it in the spring. I haven't been wearing liquid blush as much lately, but I would definitely be interested in that. And that's about half the size of a full-size product, so worth $10.73. And then the last thing in here is the Tarte Maracuja Lip Oil in Buffed Rose, which is worth $5.93. Okay, I kind of ran through those super quickly. I thought I'd be here forever if I like went through each one and really expanded on it. And honestly, I haven't tried a ton of these products, but the value I came up with was $241.88 or $270.12 if you take into account the prices of the minis, which is why they do claim $269 in value. So it makes sense how they came up with that number. This kit is about 2.5 times the value compared to what you pay at $99. Even though the value's there, I do feel like maybe this one isn't as worth it as some of the other kits. Now, again, it all comes down to personal preference. Obviously, if the products in here appeal to you, they appeal to you and the value is there. But I think with this one, you know, part of the fun comes in the fact that it's an advent calendar and you get to open something every single day, especially if you're giving it as a gift to someone who didn't, you know, see all of the products ahead of time. They're getting a surprise every single day, obviously. But for $99, you could get 2 of the other kits, especially if they're a little bit more appealing to you, and get a similar amount of products and get products that you might like a little bit more. Maybe you're not into fragrance and 4 of the products in here are fragrance related, so automatically those won't get used by you or you won't enjoy them as much. But if you're going to spend $99 on some of these kits, you could pick 2 with products you really like a lip kit and then like the Clean Beauty Favorites kit or something like that. So that is something to take into consideration. I mean, 60% of this kit is made up of deluxe size products. So not a ton of full size options, not a ton of minis. Some of the deluxe size products come with a good amount of product, but all of them except for 2 are worth less than $10. So that's something to keep in mind too. Like, would you rather have larger products? Would you rather have more full-sized options from a different kit? Or would you rather just take $99 and buy whatever you wanted on Sephora's website, which we know that doesn't really go very far these days, but you might be able to get products you're truly excited about rather than this kit. So I don't know. It's going to be for those of you who like the idea of an advent calendar. They are fun. If you're gifting it to someone, they might enjoy this too. But I do think maybe choosing like 1 kit and then saving $50 or 2 kits and getting products you really want might be a better option for you. Okay, there is one skincare focused kit available this year for $60. They say in the description it comes with 12 products, but based on the photo, you actually get 15. So I do think you get all 15. I think the description is maybe not fully updated yet because they also don't have the actual sizes of every product. I looked at the photo and I found the sizes for most of them, but the ones in the back, I couldn't tell for sure. So I calculated the value the best I could. The first product in here is from Dr. Dennis Gross. It is the Alpha Beta Universal Daily Peel Pack. pad. So you actually get 5 of these. The full-size product comes with, I think, 60, so this is worth $15.33. And then you get a little sample of the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. At this point, I feel like a lot of people have tried that product. So, I mean, it is a very popular product, but it's such a small amount. I don't know that you'll be able to test it to its fullest with just the size they give you. It's worth $4.27. There is a cleanser from the brand Youth to the People worth $7.80. And then a pretty good size of the Caudalie, is that how you say it? Caudalie Vino Perfect Brightening Dark Spot Serum. 1/3 the amount you would get in a full-size bottle, so that's worth $24.60. That's like the highest value sample in here. The Laneige Water Bank Moisturizer worth about $7.84. And then the Drunk Elephant Bee Hydra, which is worth $5.40. I used to use that product a long time ago and I really liked it, but I haven't used it in a very long time. The Summer Fridays Jet Lag Mask worth $7.62. And then the Topicals Faded Brightening Eye Masks, you get one set worth $3.67. I'm guessing on these next 3 products, just based on the size in the photos and what I've seen online from other kits, there's a Sol de Janeiro body butter, and I think that's worth about $4.98. And then the Dr. Idris Major Fade Hyper Serum. I think this says 0.17 ounces. If that's the case, it's worth $12.04. The last product I can kind of tell, like based on the photo, is from Kiehl's. It's their Ultra Facial Cream. It kind of looks like a mini based on the size, so it's worth about $21.79. Those products together come out to be $115.34. There are 4 remaining products in here, and I can't tell how much is in them, so I can't calculate the value, but based on, what they claim, they'd have to be worth about $76, which I don't think that these 4 products would add up to that. There's an eye cream from In Beauty, the Dewy Skin Cream from Tatcha, a sunscreen from Innisfree, and then another moisturizer. Their valuation of $192 is probably a little bit high, but I can't say for sure because I don't know the sizes of the last 4 products. So even without those, you're still getting about twice what you pay in terms of value, which again, like I said in the beginning of these videos, these Sephora Favorites kits are not a bad deal when it comes to value. I think what makes me hesitate with this one is skincare is so personal. So it works for one person who has like oily, acne-prone skin, might not be ideal for someone who has very dry skin. And you have to take into account whether or not you would like these types of products, you would use them, and if you're actually getting enough in them to decide if the product is going to be effective for you. I feel like you have to use skincare for a very long time before really seeing a difference or knowing if you like the product. So for me, like 1 or 2 skincare samples mixed in with a set that's mostly makeup doesn't hurt, but like a full bag of skincare products where most of them are pretty tiny just doesn't feel like it would be worth it in my opinion, especially because this is one of their more expensive kits at $60. So I would say skip over this one if you're really trying to decide which kit to grab. But again, as with everything, personal preference really does come into play here. Okay, there are 2 hair focused sets this year. So the first one is the Winter Hair Discovery gift set. It's a curated 6-piece set, and this one focuses on what they call exciting new hair brands and products. So there are no full sizes in here, 2 minis, and then 4 deluxe sizes, and it does retail for $32. So again, one of their more affordable options, but you'll see why in just a second. The first product in here is the Roz Milk Hair Serum. It's worth $13.08, but they do sell it as a mini for $29. And then the other product that's sold for a mini on Sephora's website for $19 is the Vegamour Weightless Repair Oil, but there's about $14.12 of product in there. The rest of the products are deluxe sizes, so pretty small. The Ceremonia Papaya Scalp Scrub. This only comes with ½ an ounce. And I'm just like thinking about how much product that is. I guess maybe it could be enough for like 1 use, but I can't imagine you get more than 1 use out of there, especially if you have a lot of hair. I mean, you're meant to use this on your scalp, so you're not really working it through your hair, but I use that Briogeo scalp scrub and I feel like I have to use a good amount of it. So I don't know, it's only worth $2.25. The full-size scrub comes with 8 ounces, and then like I said, the sample is ½ an ounce. The MEJ Dream Cream Indulgent Hair Mask, this comes with 1 ounce as well, which is a better size than ½ an ounce. That's worth $8.80. MEJ is that brand that sells those expensive hair clips. I talked about them in a previous video. They're very, very cute, but they are outrageously expensive. And then the Messy by Ali Webb Instant Silk Revival Spray, which is worth $8.73. This is about 25% of what you would get in a full-size product, so not bad. And then the Necessaire Rosemary Shampoo, which comes with 3.4 ounces. That is significantly bigger. I feel like that's a good-sized hair product to get as a sample or a mini. That's worth $12.14. In the end, there's really only about $59.12 worth of value in this kit. If you count the retail value of the minis, it's $79.92. So a pretty big difference here in terms of valuation. The kit is $32. So again, one of the more affordable options, but I just don't think you're getting quite as much value within this kit compared to a lot of the other options out there. I mean, you're not, like I said, really getting ripped off by any means, but a lot of these hair products are pretty small. So I don't know. It depends on your perspective when it comes to these kits. Like, do you want to be able to try the products out to decide if you want a full-size product, or would you rather have a mini that you can incorporate into your routine so you don't have to buy the full-size product? That doesn't work as well with skincare and hair care. That definitely makes sense when it comes to makeup, but there's a reason why you get so much more product in most skincare and most hair care products compared to makeup, because you run through them a lot faster. So I personally don't think this one is really worth the money. I think the other one is a much better option, but if you really wanted to try some new upcoming buzzed about brands, maybe it appeals to you. The other one is the Holiday Hair Must-Haves gift set. It retails for $48, so slightly more expensive, but I do think this one is better. They say it's a curated 11-piece set, but it actually only has 10. So I'm not sure if that's a typo. Based on the photo, there are only 10 products, so I think 10 is the accurate number. There is a full-size product in here that's $45. So that is, basically the cost of the kit itself. And I actually like this full-size product, the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Advanced Clean Dry Shampoo. I don't buy this one over and over because it's expensive. Like $45 for a dry shampoo is up there. I'm a drugstore dry shampoo person these days. I do like the Amico one if I'm like splurging on a high-end dry shampoo, but I've gotten the Living Proof one in PR and I have repurchased it and it works extremely well. It is so strongly scented though. It has like this intense, I just got cut off by my camera. I think I was saying it has like this intense fresh scent to the point where it almost gives me like a little bit of a headache. So if you don't like scented products, please keep that in mind. If you don't mind them, the actual formula itself is really great at making sure that your hair looks clean. As for the mini products, there is a Briogeo Pre-Wash Oil. I've never tried this product. I've tried most Briogeo products, at least I think I have, but I haven't tried that one. That's worth $9.41 or $16 if you're going with the retail value of a mini. The Color Wow Extra Strength Dream Coat, which I finally tried. I actually bought a mini version of this. This one is worth $8.12. I think this is the one I bought. I bought it from Walmart, and they do sell it as a mini for $14, but it does do a good job at making sure your hair is like very smooth, very sleek. If you spray it on your hair and then blow dry it, I feel like you end up with, well, it depends on your hair texture, obviously, but I usually end up with something similar to this. The Kerastase 8-Hour Magic Night Serum, which is worth $20.39 or $30 based on Sephora's website. And then the Moroccan Oil Perfect Defense, which is worth about $10.67, or they sell it for $15. As for deluxe products, you do get the Amika Perk Up Dry Shampoo, which I love. It's a pretty small sample. It's worth about $4.38. The Gisou Hair Oil, which is worth $2.71. The Day Agave Dry Heat and Hold Styling Mist. I haven't tried that, but I love Day products. They smell so good. This is worth $10.20. And then the Olaplex No. 5 Leave-In Conditioner. I have tried this. It's worth $9.69. It does work really well if you have very dry, damaged hair. The last product is a dry texturizing spray from Orbe worth $7.34. So the value of this kit is $127.91, or if you like to take the mini prices, what they retail for on Sephora's website, $154.32. I think this is a much better option than the last hair kit. It's $16 more expensive, but over $70 of extra added value in this kit if we're using the more conservative estimate. You do get a full-size product in here, and then most of the smaller options are still significantly bigger than what you get in the other hair kit. So I would definitely recommend this one over the other one, as long as these products actually appeal to you and you do have the extra $16 in your budget, when it comes down to it, I think this is a better deal. The last things that I just wanted to touch on are the fragrance sampler kits. So they did a perfume one, and then they also did a cologne one. The perfume one is $98 this year, and it does come with 20 different samples. So essentially you get to try out 20 different fragrances, and then again, similar to the mascara set, you get a voucher that you can use to redeem for a full-size fragrance out of the 20 that you've tried. They have a full list of all 20 fragrances online. I'll put it for you on the screen if you want to take a look or a screenshot. The most expensive perfume you can get with your voucher is from Versace. It's Bright Crystal, and that is worth $128. And then the least expensive is Glossier U, which is worth $78. Most of the perfumes are over the $98 price of the kit, but there are a few that are slightly below. Overall, I think these are great kits. Perfume is so personal, and unless you know like the exact fragrance they want, it's really hard to choose. My dad actually texted my sister and me, was it like on my mom's birthday or Mother's Day? And I told him to get this kit. I think it was sold out by that point because they usually do one in the spring. And I think it's just great because it is a nice way to, you know, treat the person to a fragrance, but they get to actually choose the one they want. I didn't calculate the value of the samples for this set. There are 20 different samples. They usually end up being like between $3 and $5, depending on how much you get in each one. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. It depends on how much each perfume costs. I didn't go through and do that. I do think there is value in getting 20 different samples that you can wear at home for the entire day to see how long the perfume wears, if you like it on yourself, because sometimes fragrance smells different when you spray it on a tester versus yourself. Maybe you don't live near a Sephora and you can't actually try these fragrances out in person. So I definitely think like little perfume samples that you get in the mail are still really nice to have. I still try them out when I do get them. Keep in mind, they do have some other options that aren't technically holiday kits. So if you don't like this specific set, they actually have a few more available. I'll link them in the description box. But what I love is that they do kits that have like actual mini bottles. So instead of getting like 20 different samples, you might get like 6 mini bottles. And then sometimes you also get a voucher. Sometimes you don't. There are quite a few options. So if you're really set on buying a perfume sampler, I would scroll through and see what they have. And then sometimes if you go to like the Sephora Kohl's website, they have a different one too. They also have a cologne version if you are into those or you're looking for a gift for someone in your life as well. That's everything I wanted to share in today's video. I hope this video wasn't too boring. I know with the like individual brand breakdowns, I can share more details about whether or not I think the products are actually worth the money. But in these videos, there are just so many products I haven't tried, you know, quite a few of them. So it was more so like a lot of numbers, but I still wanted to film it because I know some of you are interested in, you know, that aspect of these videos. If not, you're probably not even watching at this point anyway, but thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. There are still quite a few brands that haven't launched their holiday kits at Sephora, so I'm sure I'll be back with a few more of these videos. So stay tuned if you enjoy them. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you very soon with a new one. Bye.